Get ready for an exciting escapade through the land of the strangest, most absurd and nonsense-filled comedies ever to hit your device screens.
It's happening. I knew it. You'll never take me alive.
Get on a magical unicorn that will guide you through a maze of surreal scenarios where the world becomes a hideous carousel of absurdities and humor reaches new cosmic heights. In our amazing journey through unusual, twisted comedies on Netflix, you will meet characters whose everyday lives are crazier than a space odyssey in reverse. Get ready to confront a duck who turned into a computer and then into a caller via an online dating platform, or a fascinating encounter with a group of people who decided to crack down on boredom by creating a mosque in their apartment, all in an effort to find the answer to a question that hasn't even been asked yet. It's time to start this crazy, unusual journey through the 5 weirdest comedies on Netflix, where normalcy goes on a well-deserved vacation and absurdity sits on the throne of humor. Number 1. Sausage Party. Sausage Party is kind of like that specific mix from Pixar's cult hits. You know, those animations like Toy Story or Cars, where objects suddenly come to life and we have showtime. Well, but in Sausage Party, you have a unique cast. Food. Yes, supermarket food becomes stars. Meet Frank, a big-hearted sausage maker in love up to his ears with Brenda, the sexy bun from the same shelf. Together they dream of one thing: to discover the flavor of their relationship, you know, as wieners do, and to be chosen by God, Reed Man, to head towards paradise together outside the store. And the funniest thing, the same dream feeds all the rest of the food on the store shelf. But the guys have no idea what really awaits them outside the colorful doors of the market. That's just the twist. In Sausage Party, we discover how absurd thinking can be when you give it free rein. But fear not, this is not another anti-religious show. This film is more like pointing a finger at how beliefs and mythologies can stir up our super ultra color world, spawning a storm in a teacup. Think of it as one big spice war, where sausages and buns join the fight for their place on the shelves. And the best part, these store shelves are such mini countries, each with their own customs and manners. In Sausage Party, after all, a supermarket is not just a place to shop, but a real national cauldron with all its madness and nonsense. Of course, there's no pretending that this is a children's tale. Here, the humor is sharper than a pair of nail scissors, full of those words you'd better not use in front of your grandmother, and sexual allusions, all without wrapping it in cotton. The filmmakers step on mines with their shoes, so both the lyrics and the actions on screen are sometimes so obscene that to some they may seem more outrageous than a freshly poured jar of pickles on the carpet. If you know and love South Park, this is more or less the kind of humor you can expect, and it will be accompanied by an endless orgy of fun. And just like in South Park, these rude jokes and gag jokes lead to a pretty neat conclusion that allows us to lean into the meaning of life, the absurdities of the world, and who knows, maybe even draw some wise conclusions. Number 2. Mask.
Ipkiss! Police! Freeze!
The 9-10 years was like a golden era in cinema, you know? The kind of time when movies were real gems. If anyone says otherwise, well, The Shawshank Sentence, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, The Green Mile. And here we have a compilation of the biggest hits of those years. These titles speak for themselves. But in this venerable group, we can't forget the classic of the classics of the 90s, The Mask. Stan Ipkiss, with the proverbial luck to his name, who plays the title character, is supposed to be a hero, but with the perversity of life, the mask makes it easy for him. Ipkiss is a typical unlucky guy, you know, the kind of guy that even a bump on a curve could win. But one day he meets Tina, which puts him in a tizzy. As it happens in fairy tales, everything works out. Well, but not so much in his direction. A mishap at the club with Tina forces him on his way back, where he stumbles upon a mysterious mask, and hop hop, he becomes a superhero. But nothing goes smoothly, as gangsters and police have other plans. Jim Carrey in this role simply rocks, like a tap at a party, confirming his talent for humor. Cameron Diaz makes her big screen debut here, and well, I'll admit she did quite well. And you have to admit that the scene in the club Coco Bongo, when Muska's jaw drops or how his head turns into a wolf, is a masterpiece. And believe me, it impresses even today, even though it's quite old. The film may not be some great masterpiece, but it's a good comedy where you can have a great time. And that Muska's dog, Milo, was a masterpiece of the world. Well, after the transformation, of course. And whoever is new, be sure to click subscribe at the bottom to receive notifications of new videos. Number 3. Dictator. Oh mother, the poor plight of the dictator Aladdin, such bad luck I don't think anyone has ever had before. His subjects hope he'll be blown away by the wind, scientists think he's like a can without a label, and Megan Fox doesn't even want to cling to him after a quick flirtation. Could it be that his lush beard is so intimidating that people just run away from it? Aladdin must feel lonelier than a bacterium on a stick. Will there be someone to extend him a helping hand? Well, but say it yourself. Who else could film such a comic trap as Sacha Baron Cohen? This guy is simply a cannonball of humor. At a time when everyone is cringing and counting points for political correctness, this British madman has screwed up a comedy that beats all others. The Dictator is such a mine of punchlines that hit every target. Terrorists, politicians, and even those who think they can rule the world, and Cohen doesn't let up until he's exhausted all the funny ideas. So his new film, oh, it has some laughs in it, but frankly, it's not the big hit we'd like it to be. The Dictator seemingly tries to chalk itself up as another masterpiece after Borat, but to be fair, in the review, it's more like Alagogy. Well, because yes, satirical observations and intelligent jokes here go hand in hand with simplicity and dirty humor. One woman is hit by a drought that has lasted since the day of the intestine soldiers' strike, and another guy gets, well, you know, swallowing a surprise snack. But the highlight of the season is a love scene that takes place in a place, you know, in a not-so-typical place, as is usually the case. Namely when their hands are, well, let's just say in a rather creative place. Number 4, don't mess with the hairdresser! Oh, this is one of those gems of cinema that is hard to even describe without bursting out laughing. In Comedy About a Barber Commando, you get a real roller coaster of absurdities. Here we have a commando who, mind you, lands right in the heat of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And what does he do? Of course, he fulfills his lifelong dream and becomes a barber. Yes, a barber in the heart of the chaos of war. But that's not all, because our hero also has impressive intimate hair, which can surprise even the most daring viewers. But it doesn't stop there. He regularly consorts with older ladies in the back room of the salon. Even on paper, it sounds like a leap into the depths of absurdity. But the film, although vulgar and obscene, can twist your bowels with laughter. And that's not all. You also get the unique styling of the main character, who looks like he broke straight out of the 1980s. Isn't this the perfect recipe for a comedy hit? Number 5, Naked Guns. The years are flying by and we still have no shortage of laughs, especially when dealing with such incredibly comical productions that it's hard to believe how one can even try to remain serious. Well, Naked Weapons is simply a masterpiece in the field of funny movies that make even those who try to hold back their laughter have to let out a burp of laughter in the end. But are we able to comment on this film? Well, sure, if someone asked us. In fact, we wouldn't quite be able to do it, but let's be honest, who has time to recall all the plot confusion when we can focus on the funniest moments, right? Because when it comes to those best jokes, well, that's another story. Take, for example, that moment in the first part when Drebin flew through the window like a superhero. Let's not forget how he peed in the urinal without turning off the microphone.
That the Queen has chosen our city to visit. Indeed, it is for all the people who will be able to share in the celebration.
Really, the concentration of humor for every minute of the film in Naked Gun is just, oh, how to put it? Overpowering. Yes, that's the very word that describes this film. Overpowering. I refer you to the previous episode on Scariest Horrors.